Good morning, Copenhagen. All right. We'll get better at that, collaborating throughout this presentation, I imagine. Since I've been awake since 5 o'clock this morning, I'm super hyped and I'm super proud of standing on this stage right now. It's actually a bit surreal, you know, you're nervous and you're shaky, but I will do my very best to leave a mark on what VES actually is. And of course, first of all, thanks a lot to Mikkel and the rest of the team behind CreativeMornings for inviting us here. And thanks a lot to Trailer Park in general for putting together an event like this. It's super inspiring and I'm looking forward to drink some beers with you throughout the whole day and mingle a bit. But I'll start. So we call this presentation today, we call it the comprehensive colors of creativity and collaboration, because this is all what VES stands for. But I can see some familiar faces, and some of you might know what VES is. But to start things out with, we want to show you a little show reel that we've made, just to kick off everything. So here it is. So that was, a little bit about who we are and what we do. To tell you a story, VES started back in 2011 by 9 good friends. So none of us are actually artists, but we share a common interest in art, culture, and design. So we're all studying. So this is like a part-time job. And we put a lot of work. It's like hours of interest and passion. And believe me, we put in a lot of hours. But as you can see up here, the question is, what is this? And it's a question that we've got a lot of times throughout the last 4 to 5 years. But it's also a question that we are asking ourselves every now and then. Because the answer to that question is actually not that straightforward as it may seem. Because we still can't come up with a precise definition that encapsulates exactly what we are. So one could say that this is a gallery or a showroom. And though they might not be completely wrong, it still just doesn't hit it on the spot. See, the reason why we're struggling with these definitions and labels might be that this is more than 55 square meters located here in Vesterbro, Copenhagen. You see, this, it's a platform. And it's a platform for many established and unestablished creative people, artists or designers who have a talent, but doesn't necessarily already have a well-established brand and appeal. But what they do have is something to show the world. So next question is like, why this? And the decision to start a place like this, it was really based on our common frustration of observing how some of our talented and creative friends never showed their works in public. So we wanted to make a platform where creative ideas could be unfolded and thereby come forward and shine in a spotlight. You know, instead of just being hidden away on a computer in Dropbox or at an atelier or something like that. So since its opening, we have presented more than 100 relevant and contemporary cultural projects across different media and platforms. And obviously, we have a vision with this. Because our main focus is not to convey art, but it is to convey experiences. We want to give our audience an experience. And the experience is actually one of the key drivers in our work. And it applies in all our projects, in all our exhibitions, across art disciplines and medias. So, experience economy, let's take things a bit back to the late 90s, where this buzzword kind of like came out. So it's pretty reviled buzzword when we're talking art and museums, and I guess galleries in general. And of course there is a pitfall if the focus slides too far away from the presenting art. But the experience economy, the way we see it, is when the presenting art and the experience around it support each other. So facilitating this experience should leave one with many impressions. And we're super aware of that. See, the important thing is something steps into your worldview and it makes you think. And this is what matters. You see, this is a place where we seek to push the boundaries for how art and people connect. And now, the topic of the day, the theme we all came here for, or something like that. It's the collaboration part. You see, this, it's nothing without collaboration. I'll just say it again. This is nothing without collaboration. And that applies for both internally and external work. So it's between us, the 9 of us, the artist, and the audience. See, there's a synergy where we rely on the content from the presenting artist, and the artist is dependent on that we get the exhibition to play with everything behind it. So first of all, when we talk about the internal collaboration between the 9 of us, you need to understand that we are all a team. And the 9 of us are great friends. Some of us have been friends since we were this big. Not now we're this big. And throughout the last 4 years or so, we haven't got any count on how many times we've been asked this question. Isn't it a problem being friends and not at least being 9? And you know what? This is actually our biggest strength. And I guess the reason why we succeed in being 9, it might be that VES is not driven by any economic revenue. So money is not a motivational factor for us. But instead, as I started out with saying, we share a common motivation to facilitate and present great exhibitions and events. And another thing that might work out for us is that we don't have any specific job titles or a specific hierarchy. And for us, that creates a dynamic workflow. Just need to see where I am. But as you may notice in the video I just showed you before, is that we have a lot of different exhibitions and events here at VES, at VES. But we seek to collaborate with a wide range of different artists, and we're eager to present a diverse range of exhibitions. So we've worked together with illustrators, visual artists, musicians, photographers, writers, even clothing companies, pop-up bakeries, chefs, installation artists, movie makers, and the list goes on and on. So you see, in VES, we extend far and wide. But the crucial and important thing is that each project has something to say. And each project needs to stand out as something unique. And our job is to facilitate each project so that we get it off the ground and out in the public. And talking about relevancy and things going on, this story here, Trans-Pakistan, it's actually an exhibition that we're going to open tonight. But taking it a bit back, for us, in order to make a great collaboration work or putting together an exhibition, we always meet with our exhibitors face to face. For us, it is essential to listen to their life story, their visions, and their thoughts. Because every single project has its story of their own. And as I was saying, later today, we will present this photography exhibition at VES called Trans-Pakistan. The exhibition is part of a festival that focuses on the queer communities in Pakistan and how they struggle to be themselves in a conservative and complex Pakistan. So for us, and hopefully for you guys, this is not just an exhibition. It's actually a window into another world. And these kinds of projects is something that we are super proud and excited to be a part of. So as I was saying, it's 55 square meters or more, located Vesterbro. And we do collaborations and et cetera, et cetera. But how do we succeed with putting together an event where our collaborators can feel like, wow, I feel like this is my own? We're focused on the co-ownership of that collaboration. And this is another aspect that characterizes our work in all these various different projects we do. And I guess in contrast to other galleries, we do not have a specific design or a specific format that just needs to be filled out. Instead of doing that, we want to give people free rein so that this is just as much their place as it is ours. It's really important. So we think a good collaboration needs this kind of co-ownership. So if one feels locked, the inspiration and the creativity, it simply dies. No, dead. Can't work. Super, super bad. It's not good at all. But if one is given the opportunity to make an imprint, that's when the projects become personal and authentic. But on the other hand, we also need to secure that this co-ownership doesn't get off the rails, but it stays on track. And we secure this through dialogue. And then we find out together with our collaborators how to cut the cake in pieces. Before I want to show you the next little it's a short film. We did this exhibition together with one of our good friends who's an artist. His name is Daniel van den Noen. So we were sitting, talking with him, saying, okay, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? And he was like, I just want to go big. And we were like, okay, we'll limit it to the amount of square meters that we have, but we like the fact that you want to go big. So he went home and we met the day after, and he came up and said, okay, I want to paint the walls multiple colors, and I want to do an installation so people can understand what I'm thinking. And we were like, okay, let's do it. Yeah, just a small teaser for you to get a feeling of what was going on. You can obviously check it online if you want to. But here it says, challenges in collaboration. Back in 2013, we got a phone call from the Danish customs, and they said, Rolex will probably sue you. 2 days after, we got a letter from the Danish police saying that we might get charged for illegal import of weapons. So we were quite confused. So Vest was actually about to shut down before it had really begun. But prior to this phone call, we had met this American photographer named Phil America, who was living in Bangkok in this time. So Phil was to make a photography exhibition at our space, obviously in a collaboration with us. He wanted to show the criminal underworld of Bangkok. And his pictures were awesome. And we were thrilled about getting the opportunity to show them to our audience and to the rest of Copenhagen. See, he had been living in the slums for 3 months, and he had become friends with the villains, and thereby he got the opportunity to take photos in a world that we knew exists, but rarely see. Here are some of the guys he was become friends with. But as part of the exhibition we did with Phil, without further notice, he sent us a box from Thailand filled with different kinds of artifacts, such as a fake police vest, some porno magazines, and this fake Rolex, and an iPhone taser gun. So we've never met Phil in real life, and our communication with him was only through emails. So all of a sudden, we were facing some serious challenges. And another thing was, Phil's online appearance was a bit weird, because he was writing to us from different email accounts, and he had made up some sketchy stories about why he all of a sudden couldn't come to Denmark. This is Phil. He's a very, very nice guy. Let me just outline that. It's very important. But this is an example of 100% virtual and digital collaboration. And as I said, fortunately, everything went well. The charges, they were dropped, and the exhibition turned out to become a great success. And we're still good friends with him this day today, at least online. But nevertheless, we learned how things easily can get lost in translation and how important it is to meet our exhibitors in real life. Because nowadays, everything, it goes super fast because of all of these digital communication tools that we all have in our pockets or tablets or whatever. So we've realized that a good collaboration, it needs to have some sort of physical presence in order to create trust and credibility. And we know it's a slow process, but it makes the interaction much more. Oh, I dropped it. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm on it. It makes it much more effective. So, when we do a collaboration, it is our job to get the message out there. Because there's no exhibition without an audience. And in order to generate awareness about each project, we use various communication channels to reach out. So we try to create a hype and a buzz that makes people talk. So we put an effort in communicating messages at eye level so that the audience can emphasize with the exhibition and the experiences it has to offer. So many have probably experienced, I guess many of you guys have experienced to be at an exhibition where the description is long and academical and very intellectual. And it can seem kind of abstract and limited only for a certain elite. But in our perspective, it needs to be down to earth and easy to understand. And one could say that this is kind of an underdog in comparison with other, more established museums and galleries. So we're not that recognized by more intellectual art magazines, for instance. And that is actually for us quite okay, because we want to reach out to the regular citizen. And, here's an example. We had an exhibitor whose name was Jens Ole Kongstad Bock. He's a former biochemist who used static electricity and power to make some really cool art pieces. And I don't know if you can see it, but this is actually a small picture of his way of working. And his technique was very, very complicated. And therefore, it was also very complicated to tell to others. But after talking and collaborating with the artist, with Jens Ole, we kind of found an angle, what we call the good story. And we made a story behind it. We created a video. We sent out press releases encapsulating how his technique actually was working. And that resulted in a lot of articles in national newspapers, came in the radio, Radio 24/7, and on TV, which resulted in that a lot of people came by. So yeah, I don't know how fast I was going, and I'm about to finish actually. And this is what it's called up here. It's called the aftermath. Because we know I'm standing here right now. I'm here at Trailer Park IO, and hopefully this talk has been, I'll be very humble if it has been, will leave you with an inspiration. But as I was starting with saying, is that VES was started back in 2011 by the good friends of ours. So we're a young business. And fortunately, we have many good years to come. At least I hope so. I don't know about the guys. We're going for a few more years, right? Great. But now that we're here at Trailer Park, as I was saying, and the theme of today is technology and creativity, we've made some reflections upon what the most important thing about collaboration is to us. You know what? We embrace technology, and we embrace the day of tomorrow. However, our experience, it tells us that you need to be present in order to realize our common visions and dreams that we share with our collaborators. You see, in our perspective and the way our business is working, you can't survive with only being digital. We are humans after all, and the human interactions are extremely important. So to succeed with a project that determines collaboration, we've realized that the human relations and interactions that goes on in this is one of our core values. You know, we strive to give the audience a good and memorable experience, and that takes place at our space between us, the artists, and you guys, the audience. Thank you very much.